एक एक्टर के लिए बेशर्मी कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट है?
पूरी दुनिया को उस पर यकीन नहीं होता है ना, तो फिर और भी डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। तब शायद आपको बेशर्म बनना पड़ता है और कहना पड़ता है कि भाई या माई वे और द हाईवे, मैं बेशर्म हूँ और मैं ऐसे ही करना चाहता हूँ। आई वॉजंट कंफर्टेबल डूइंग फिल्म्स वेयर आई हैड टू डांस फॉर इट बिकॉज़ आई एम नॉट गुड एट
It is something which is unpredictable, and I think if anything can be unpredictable, it is always more I think impactful.
Very well said, yeah. Faridoon, I totally agree with what you're saying. We tried to do exactly what you read out of it, and I'm very glad that it reached out and got to the audiences like that. I know everybody keeps saying, yeah, बेचारा over underrated actor है, वो अभी तो कुछ मिला नहीं है.
How important is it for actors to be collaborative?
Aamir Khan in Three Idiots or Rang De Basanti, he let the other actors take the main lead with Rang De Basanti, especially when he let Siddharth take the entire climax.
He's basically just breaking the mold and just being irreverent.
Giving what people are expecting is a sure way to fail, without a doubt. Hi, this is R. Madhavan. You're watching Connect Cine with Faridoon. Stay connected.
माधवन, बहुत बहुत मुबारक आपको फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल शैतान के लिए। वेलकम ऑन कनेक्ट सिने। कैसे हैं आप?
बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक, थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू।
एब्सोल्युटली लव्ड योर परफॉर्मेंस एंड मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई बिकॉज बहुत सालों से आपके काम को मैं फॉलो कर रहा हूँ। एंड मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे ये होगा कि अभी मैंने इम्तियाज अली साहब का मैंने इंटरव्यू किया कुछ दिनों पहले, और उन्होंने एक बड़ी दिलचस्प सी बात उन्होंने कही कि डायरेक्शन के लिए बेशर्मी बहुत जरूरी है। कि कौन क्या मतलब फिगर्स हैं उसके बारे में सोचना, या किसी और चीज के बारे में सोचना, या किस तरीके के प्रेशर्स हैं उनके बारे में सोचने के बजाय जो हम कहने के लिए आए हैं, जो जुनून है, वो इम्पोर्टेंट है। एक एक्टर के लिए बेशर्मी कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट है? मैं इस वजह से कह रहा हूँ बिकॉज ये जो किरदार आपने शैतान में निभाया है,
जी
उसके लिए आई एम श्योर दैट यू मस्ट हैव हैड टू जस्ट शेड सेवरल इनहिबिशंस ऑफ योर्स। आपने पहले भी नेगेटिव शेड्स पहले भी किए हुए हैं, लेकिन ये जो जो आपने इसमें किया, बिकॉज इसमें बच्चे भी इन्वॉल्व हैं, एंड दैट इज that's a fantastic performance as well over there.
थैंक यू वेरी मच। मेरे लिए ये बेशर्मी अपने आप को डिफाइन करना ज़रूरी है कि उसका मतलब क्या होता है। कभी कभार जो है आप अपना इनहिबिशन खो के जो आप काम करते हो उसको शायद बेशर्मी में टर्म किया जा सकता है, या फिर आप अपने कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर जाकर ऐसे कुछ चीज़ें करें जो शायद आप निजी ज़िंदगी में कभी ना कर पाएं, क्या उससे बेशर्मी कहते हैं। या जैसे इम्तियाज साहब तो बहुत ही मतलब मशहूर डायरेक्टर हैं, उन्होंने कई फिल्में डायरेक्ट की हैं, उनको शायद पता होगा कि कितना ब्रेव होना पड़ता है कभी कभी अपने आइडियाज़ को स्क्रीन में दिखाने के लिए। और जब खास करके जब पूरी दुनिया को उस पर यकीन नहीं होता है ना, तो फिर और भी डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। तब शायद आपको बेशर्म बनना पड़ता है और कहना पड़ता है कि भाई या माई वे और द हाईवे, मैं बेशर्म हूँ और मैं ऐसे ही करना चाहता हूँ। जहां तक एक्टिंग का
Right.
सवाल है, वहां पे ये होता है कि आपको आ, किरदार के दायरे के अंदर रह करना उसको बिलीवेबल करना पड़ता है, और
Mm-hmm.
उसमें थोड़ा सा अपनी जो रियल पर्सनालिटी है उसको थोड़ा इन्फ्यूज करना पड़ता है, तो जहां तक शैतान का सवाल है, मैं बहुत सोचा, मैंने और विकास डायरेक्टर विकास ने और अपने अजय साहब ने, हम बैठ के सोच रहे थे कि इसको कैसा प्ले किया जाए, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी बहुत ही माहिर एक्टर ने गुजरात में कर रखा है और बहुत ही सक्सेसफुल फिल्म थी वो, और वो बहुत ही
Right.
कमाल के एक्टर हैं। फिर मुझे लगा कि ये आदमी ये चीज़ जो है 107 बार पहले कर चुका है, और वो फर्क था मेरे और उस कैरेक्टर में, ताकि एक लेवल ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है, एक लेवल ऑफ क्या बोलते हैं, इम्पर्टिनेंस आ जाता है, और मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली इम्पेशंस, कि भाई चलो मेरे को पता है मैं जीतने वाला हूँ, जल्दी काम करो, निपटाओ यार, तुम लोग जल्दी से मुझे दो, मुझे काम करना है। वो जो बीइंग वेरी श्योर अबाउट द आउटकम एट द सेम टाइम, being bored with the proceedings, at the same time being charming because this family presents a completely different set of challenges. That's what I infused into Vanraj as far as Shaitaan is concerned. एक अच्छी बात ये हुई कि जब हम फिल्म शूट कर रहे थे उस वक्त ना, हमको नहीं पता था कि फिल्म का जो टाइटल है वो शैतान होने वाला है। मुझे नहीं पता था कि ये कैरेक्टर ऐसा उभर के आने वाला है। मुझे ये नहीं पता था कि मैं although we're playing the main lead, the film will be titled over that main lead's personality. तो आई वाज परफॉर्मिंग विद अ लॉट ऑफ फ्रीडम। अगर शायद वो मुझे पहले बता देते कि फिल्म का टाइटल ही शैतान है, शैतान है, और फिर आपके ऊपर ही चाहे ये टीजर हो या ट्रेलर आपके ऊपर ही बनने वाला है, तो मैं शायद बहुत ही कॉन्शियस हो जाता और शायद अलग तरीके से परफॉर्म करता. बट आई हैव टू गिव इट टू द टीम, स्पेशली अजय सर, for giving me the kind of opportunity that I never expected in my life. I was able to perform with complete freedom. शायद उसी को बेशर्मी कहते हैं.
All right, और I think the way the film is performing right now, एक नई फिल्म रिलीज होती है लेकिन शैतान परफॉर्म्स बेटर, वे बेटर. अभी ईस्टर भी है, होली भी आने वाला है. 150 करोड़ इज समथिंग विच इज ऑलमोस्ट सर्टेन नाउ, विच इज फैंटास्टिक बिकॉज जहां तक मुझे अंदाजा है कि आई थिंक बजट के हिसाब से I think this should be I think doing very very well. How motivating it is for you as an actor, because I'm sure कि बहुत से आपको already feelers आ रहे होंगे और किरदारों के लिए, because ये तो इस तरीके का किरदार है कि I think filmmakers would love to cast you now in so many more performances, more roles now.
So I've always been one that went only with the kind of film that had a character and performances. So I wasn't comfortable doing films where I had to dance, for instance, because I'm not good at. But as far as this film success is concerned, yeah, after being in the industry for close to 25 years or 30 years right now, to be rediscovering sides to yourself that people love or people are enjoying and it's making money for the producer, is an extremely encouraging feeling for me as an actor. एंड मुझे लगता है कि आई एम स्टिल ऑन द थ्रेशोल्ड. अभी तक तो मुझे इतना कुछ करना है. मैं आई थिंक आई हैव सो मच लाइफ एक्सपीरियंसेस कि आई वांट टू मेक श्योर दैट आई पुट ऑल दैट ऑन स्क्रीन. एंड आई थिंक right now the Indian public, especially the way the Indians are feeling around the world, they're feeling highly empowered here. तो हमको लगता है कि there are so many stories that I want to tell that I can represent this empowered Indian in a manner that nobody else can. So I'm trying to find my own little niche in this entire struggle.
That's amazing. And जिस तरीके का आई थिंक परफॉर्मेंस है, अगर 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 किरदार की बात करें, कैरेक्टर की बात करें, फॉर एग्जांपल जब वो द मोमेंट ही गेट्स द हिप्नोसिस सॉर्टेड, खिलाता है वो, एंड वो लुक्स इन द गर्ल्स आईज एंड ही नोज
जी.
दैट ही इज इन कंट्रोल. और द मोमेंट गेट के ऊपर जब वो पहुंचता है एंड ज्योतिका लुक्स एट हर, so you as a viewer, like as a viewer, for example, in the sense, "Man, this is scary moment he has reached." So, and I think वो किसी भी character के लिए that's a huge, I think huge thing to get that level of chills in your bones, literally, and even after that कि इसका सर फोड़ दो. So I think वो जो आपने जिस तरीके से, मुझे लग रहा है कि बहुत आपने enjoy किया उसको. I think I'm sure that you had a great time performing this character.
बिल्कुल. जो आप सीन्स का जिक्र कर रहे हैं वो फिल्म की शुरुआती में है, यू नो, और आपके पास हार्डली एक आध सीन है वो फियर को क्रिएट करने के लिए. तो
Right.
मुझे लगता है कि हमको ये नहीं भूलना चाहिए एज फिल्म मेकर्स कि जब भी ऑडियंस थिएटर आती है तो पहले अपना वो आपका टीजर देखती है पहले, उसके बाद ट्रेलर देखते हैं, फिर वो डिसाइड करते हैं ये इस टाइप की फिल्म है, और उसके बाद उस वेटेज के साथ वो पिक्चर देखने आते हैं. ऐसा कोई नहीं होता कि बगैर कुछ भी देखे थिएटर में आ जाता है एंड ही सीइंग इट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. तो आई वाज अवेयर ऑफ दैट. मुझे लगा था कि जो भी वो ट्रेलर में दिखाएंगे वो तो जरूर ये दिखाना पड़ेगा कि वनराज जो है नेगेटिव कैरेक्टर है या उससे डरो. So I picked up my
Awesome.
performances or tried to portray it from the time that you have seen the trailer, from the very first scene. So there is no point in pretending to be innocent in the first shot. No, you're not innocent. Already theater में अगर आप लोगों ने trailer देख लिया तो उनको पता है कि आप negative character हो. So why create an entire graph where you're starting off from being such a nice, innocent guy? I wanted to create the fear and the unpredictability of this guy even from the very first shot. So I played with that. I made sure that he, although seems like the really nice, sweet guy a little bit, but there was something completely off. There was he was out of rhythm. So I spoke the dialogues out of rhythm. I made the change of expressions out of rhythm, not within a pace. So even when the music comes, it's out of rhythm a little bit. So it creates a sense of foreboding, which worked for us. In fact, even it was brilliantly worked out. Even I got to give it full credit to Vikas and the music director and the cinematographer and the sound recordist, who who worked so much in tandem to make sure that the voice that I was trying to use, the granules that I wanted the character to have as he speaks, and the angle. I always wanted the angle of the eye to be correct so that I'm conveying more with the eyes than and dialogues than I am with my expressions. So they worked very well with me. You know, it was very lightly and smoothly done, and it fell in place luckily for us.
And I think somehow it's very important that and one expects from an actor of your caliber. Um, in this character, in this I think entire I think context, it could have been very easy to go a bit over the top for the character. In terms of loud expressions, maybe
Really.
the way the eyes pop up or the way the smile is. It can the smirk can be maybe slightly more than what you would be you have done actually. So how important is it for you to have that economy of expression, to just have that requisite emotion that ignites that emotion in the audience, and just letting it go after that?
You're absolutely right. In a role like this, it's a great temptation is there to push the envelope a little bit and make it a little more, in your own mind, a little more impactful. But I have to thank, Vikas for it. The director was very clear. He allowed me all the freedom that I ever wanted. But every time he thought it was going slightly above or below, he would tell me, "Ki, Maddy, thoda upar jana hai, try to keep it." And you're very tempted as an actor to do that. But Vikas was very clear about it. We wanted to keep it within the realm of reality. We never wanted it to be larger than life till you went to the end. In the end, of course, he does become loud and monstrous and still believable. But I have to quote
Mhm.
Raju Hirani on that. I remember doing Three Idiots, and there was a scene where the baby is born and is stillborn, and then सारे लड़के तीनों मिलके all is well करते हैं और वो बच्चा लात मार के he becomes fine. तो पिक्चर जब हमने लोगों को दिखाया तो बहुत लोगों ने कहा कि वो यार पूरी पिक्चर एक अलग फ्रीक्वेंसी में आई, ये खाली थोड़ा कमर्शियल सीन आपने डाल दिया, कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो गया ये, इसको निकाल दो फिर भी ठीक फिल्म वही लेवल की रहेगी। और राजू जी ने सबकी बात सुनी और फिर उन्होंने कहा कि यार सबकी सुनो लेकिन खुद की करो। उन्होंने वो सीन रखा क्योंकि उनको पता था कि बीएनसी सेंटर्स में यही सीन में ताली बजेगी, एंड ही वाज एब्सोल्युटली राइट। तो प्रीमियम में जो भी प्रीमियर के टाइम में जिन जिन लोगों ने ताली नहीं बजाई, फिर मैं जाके जब थिएटर में देख रहा था, जब वो बच्चा लात मारता है एंड ऑल इज वेल होता है, तो द होल थिएटर जस्ट ब्लू अप लाफिंग एंड whistling. एंड देन आई रियलाइज्ड कि देयर इज in India, you have to do a variety of acting to get everybody involved in the storytelling. We are a very wide kind of a society. We are the ones that love the dramatics. यार अगर हमारे यहाँ कोई unfortunate incident हो जाता है, तो इंग्लिश में एक वर्ड है which is called wailing. यार we wail. Because the Western, film industry does not approve of wailing as an expression, you can't say that it is not a
Okay.
true human emotion, right? It is a very, very true and a very, very important emotion for Asians. तो हमने हमने रियलाइज किया कि ओवर कभी कभी जाना जरूरी है, बिकॉज दैट्स हाउ वी आर, बट कीप इट विद इन द realm of reality, which is what we try to do in the climax, and it worked for us. तो loud, so to answer your question, लाउड से ज्यादा अनरियल होना जो है मेरे लिए डर, वो डर ज्यादा था कि यार ऐसा ना हो कि यू प्रेस द बटन लिटिल टू हार्ड सो दैट डजंट लुक रियल, एंड दैट आई थिंक आई वाज हेल्प्ड ग्रेटली बाय विकास एंड द टीम.
Right. No, even when you are, as you said, being monstrous, but what I felt as a viewer, that even there, like, it was not being overdone. I
Thank
think
you.
I think it was there was an economy over there as well, and it is more impactful that ways, rather than going overboard, maybe, because that would have become predictable. But I think why, as a viewer entirely, and I don't look at films from a critical point of view. I think it's something which is different.
Correct.
It's not the regular. It is something which is unpredictable, and I think if anything can be unpredictable, it is always more I think impactful, and it is there in your mind space for a longer period of time as well.
Very well said, yeah. Firzan, I totally agree with what you're saying. We tried to do exactly what you read out of it, and I'm very glad that it reached out and got to the audiences like that.
And has Raju sir seen the film?
No, I'm afraid he hasn't. He was very caught up with something, and he told me that he'll see it this week and get back to me.
Right, because I think you've been associated with him for several years now. Sala Kharoos as well. We
Right.
spoke, like, you and Raju sir, and of course Three Idiots. Is I still remember we spoke on the day
Right.
the movie released. You, Amir, and Sherman. How do you look back at your journey, in the Hindi film industry? Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein till now, as
It's
far
been
as
a
Shaitaan is concerned.
It's been a charming ride, man. I mean, look at from Three Idiots. I have had very limited releases in Hindi. If you look at it, there was Tanuved's Manu, there was Jodi Breakers, then there was Teen Patti, I guess, and then after that,
Right.
Tanuved's Manu returns, and then there was Big Gap. When I did Rocketry after that, Salakadus, for instance, and then so maybe in the last 12, 14 years, I've done about 8 or 9 films. But thankfully, all of them have done really well for me. Yeah. And in terms of the OTT, also, I did Breathe and I've done Decoupled and I've done Railwaymen. These are the only. So it feels good to be validated by the Hindi audiences over and over again. And I feel really good. I know everybody keeps saying, yeah, bichara over underrated actor hai, wo, abhi to kuch mila nahi hai and all that. But I am really in a comfortable space to be constantly growing and your remuneration constantly increasing over the last 15 years. And doing the kind of work that I enjoy doing without having the pressure of earning money. For me, that is the kind of freedom that only God gives to very few people here, and I'm very blessed like that.
Okay, so like whatever interviews I've seen of yours and whatever I think even the promo launch, so everyone is talking about Ajay sir and the fact that how giving he is an actor. Even Jyotika was saying at the promo launch that she has never come across apart from Mammootty sir that
Yeah,
an actor can be so giving in terms of be the poster, be even otherwise. So मुझे लगता है कि I think there is I think this has been spoken about a lot as well. But still, as an actor, when you collaborate with let's say someone like Ajay Devgn, obviously he's very giving, and that has been spoken about a lot. But how important is it for actors to be collaborative, to look at the larger picture and to look at maybe imagining how the audience is going to react because everyone is going to benefit at the end of the day.
exactly. So, Hindi film industry has been more open to it than any other industry. Like multi-star films have always done really, really well. Even with Aamir Khan in Three Idiots or Rang De Basanti, he let the other actors take the main lead with Rang De Basanti,
Yeah.
especially when he let Siddharth take the entire climax. Or even with Three Idiots, he was very giving in. But Ajay is a completely different level. I mean, he not only did he completely allow me to do what I want, took the more lesser written role, but he also did the entire publicity around Shaitaan. He made the posters around it, he made the teaser and the trailer around it. You need to be a guy of extreme confidence as an actor and as a star to be able to do something like that and see what will actually benefit the film. And he was spot on. I honestly I didn't expect this to be so talked about as it is right now, and it was still crossing different milestones as far as the recovery is concerned. But to have the foresight that he has, I don't think I would have had. And true. What do you call it? Visionary. Ajay Ajay sir is a completely different breed altogether, man. And I think that having that sort of confidence amongst within yourself as well as knowing what is best for the product is really really important in today's world.
Okay, so I think we are in a very very interesting I think zone right now. There was a time in 2022 when it was being said that the big screen is finished. Movies are not working post pandemic, and 2023 I think just completely hit the ball out of the park with this new 500 crore club coming into the picture. But at the same time, there are movies like Drishyam 2 doing well. At the same time, Oh My God 2 doing well. And 12th Fail is something that has become trailblazing in more ways than one. And now we're seeing that Shaitaan is going to do extraordinary business as well. How do you look at the movie business right now? Because regular stories um, can have very good business that we're seeing with Shaitaan as well, and it doesn't necessarily have to be larger than life with big songs and big action sequences as well. Do you find that fascinating?
Well, there's one thing very clear, and amongst all the films you have said, the films that are doing well without fail have got great performances as part of their package. You really have to have good actors to make sure that the
Yeah.
film reaches out to the audiences. That is a given. Okay. The other thing is that I think the pacing and the narration and the type of narration that is being expected by the public has changed dramatically post COVID. Our entire public,
Yeah.
which is used to a 45-second reel, moving them to the core, making them laugh, cry, smile, forward. talk or think. That's the level of instant gratification that they're expecting from the movies and the scenes. And we as storytellers have yet to come up with that speed of storytelling. Those of us who have managed to do that, understand that, and do it, and layer the scenes. I mean, this is a very big subject. I could talk about it for a year, for hours. But layering, pacing, making it look more empowered, extraordinary performances, knowing the actual length of the scene that can be sustained. All these are skills that our filmmakers are learning as we speak, on the go. And we need to hone our skills on that for us to make our films relatable to the extremely evolved audience. I think if you look at some of the reviews in Hindi, for instance, they're remarkable. The reviews coming out from Heartland, the kind of perceptions, the kind of things that they have, and the kind of things that they're able to read into. I have been blown by their reviews. And that is a great yardstick to measure the kind of audiences you're making the stories for. They don't use the mundane words. They're not trying to act smart with their reviews. They're just spot on. They're able to catch on, you know. And I'm amazed that we're taking so long to recognize who they've really become.
Okay, now at the same time, you've done something like Decouple, primarily in English, provocative, progressive. At the same time, I think uh, risk taking.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that process? And at the same time, you've done Railwayman, fantastic performance, great
Thank you.
series. And that is I think another diverse field that has opened up and is making it very challenging for the actors. And I'm sure it must be very gratifying as actors as well.
Decoupled was truly a risk. I was quite nervous before the release of it because I thought
Yeah.
I'd overreached. It was in English. It was quite a one crazy kind of a guy. He was very modern. At the same time, there was a benevolence to him. I did not know how it will be accepted. When I first saw the series at home, my wife and I were very nervous. We were like, "Arey, kya kar diya, bhaiya?" I mean, this is not what we've ever seen in India before. It was really, out of the box. But to see the audience and the world over actually take to it like we never expected was very, very encouraging. So I realized that now, as an actor, I have the ability to do things in English, in Hindi, on OTT, in Tamil OTT, Hindi OTT, English OTT, theaters, films on OTT or theater. Suddenly, there are so many options available that you don't have to compromise on your convictions in terms of the fact that you do any story that comes to you because of the sake of your requirement for your bread and butter. So I can wait. I can afford to take my time. I can afford to choose the kind of subjects that I want to, and taking these risks has been over and over proven to me that it's well worth it. People are, but once Decoupled was made, we couldn't do another one of that type. So I'm waiting for another opportunity to make something like Decoupled again. And I think India can make content in English really, really well. We really speak the language well, and I don't see any reason why we should not pick international content coming out of India.
No, no, absolutely. I think in English is a very important, I think, link language,
Mm.
which I think connects, I think, a lot of various diversity that India has. Okay. Now at the same time, um, do you enjoy all these reels? You spoke about the reels fact
Yeah.
part shortly. All these reels that pop up from Tanu Weds Manu.
Yes, of course. I mean, every so often, I mean, the content creators are at it all the time. I'm quite blown by their creativity, and of course, it makes one laugh and smile at times. It's amazing.
So you've had a long filmography, but I think 10 years, 15 years down the line, and the last 20 years, um, what has happened with you is that you were part of Rang De Basanti, a cameo. Um, but one of the most famous dialogues that has been attributed to you came from that particular film where you said that कोई भी country perfect नहीं होता है उसको perfect बनाना पड़ता है. And that has, I think, been, I think, a yardstick for many people over the last 15, 20 years. How do you look at this particular, I think, event in your career, like a cameo, but such an important cameo, and what a dialogue.
Yeah, one didn't expect that 9 minute, 10 minute rule to become so mortal as it did. But I think it was the way it was written, and Rakesh Prakash Mehra and the team and
Hmm.
Prashunji with the lyrics and the song that was attributed to Flight Lieutenant, uh, you know, was completely unexpected. Ajay Rathod was a character that I thought, is going to be a like a stimuli, and then the rest of the movie would go. I was supposed to play Siddharth's role in the film because that was what was offered to me
Right.
in the beginning, but I had long hair and I couldn't cut my hair because I was in continuity for a Tamil film. But then Aamir said, "You have to do this role as a fighter pilot," and I did it. I did it because it was a great opportunity. That was one of the most at that time progressive sets in Hindi cinema. They had a full bound script. They had first associate director. It was done on live sound. It was a set that I was very excited to be part of, and I got an opportunity to understand how next level of cinema was being made at that time because it was live sound and we had actors from around the world. I had never done or seen a film like that. Amir was used to it after Lagan, but for me it was a new opportunity. So I did it for all those reasons, but I also had the good fortune of being involved, with NCC and spending a lot of time with my friends who are in the defense to know how the actual Air Force pilot, behaves, how he salutes as opposed to a naval officer or a army officer. Then, to understand the way, the gait, the way they talk, how they handle situations and stuff like that. That insight helped me remarkably portraying Flight Lieutenant Ajay Rathod. So, even though I was excited about it, I got to be honest with you, I never thought it'd become such an iconic character. And I didn't think those big dialogues that I was saying, although I said it, not knowing it was going to be such a big dialogue, really worked for the
Oh,
film and has become immortal. And I think it's ringing true today as we see India flying.
okay. Now, decoupled. Now, for example, Shaitaan, um, pushing the boundaries. I spoke to Ram Gopal Verma Saab a few months back. He had written this long review of Animal, and he said a very interesting thing that why he liked the film was that it's not trying to cater to what people expect from a director, and he's basically just breaking the mold and just being irreverent.
Hmm.
How important is it for you as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, that maybe to have that element, हमने शुरू में बेशर्मी की बात करी, to tell a story the way you want to tell, and to maybe provoke attention instead of giving what people are expecting in general.
I think giving what people are expecting is a sure way to fail, without a doubt.
Yeah,
If you look at all the pivotal films in Indian cinema in the last 20 years, let us say from Lagan, there
yeah,
was a kind of films that were being done before that, commercial films. Lagan broke the mold, and suddenly people said, if you can make a film like Lagan, why are you giving me the traditional stuff that, is still very feudalistic in its approach? And then you had Rang De Basanti, which broke the mold again, or you had Three Idiots, which broke the mold again, or Tanavad's Manu. So, if you're fearful in your storytelling and you're trying to toe the line all the time, that's a sure way to fail. The story has to come from deep within. It has to come within your gut. Of course, there have to be, other films that are made, the commercial setups that have to be done, so that the theaters are, having movies to show at all times, and people do that and very successfully also. But it doesn't mean that if you toe the line all the time and follow the rules that you will become successful. Many have fallen in that pursuit, and I am not one of those guys who prescribes to a project sort of a setup. इनको डालो इतना minimum guarantee है देखा जाएगा चल जाएगी तो hit है. It works for them. Unfortunately, I'm not commercially wired like that, so there's nothing commercial about me on that sense. But whatever I bet on, if that works, for instance, Tanavad's Manu Returns was the biggest return on investment on in Hindi cinema by a long shot. For the kind of price it was made and the kind of money it made. Thunderbird's Manu was released during the World Cup and it ran through World Cup and IPL to make the kind of money it did. But I was always of the belief that we are not representing, um, uh, you know, the majority belt of India when it as far as romance was concerned. All the romantic stories at that time were being shot in the US, and it was all about smooching and it was all about high quality clothes. And fair enough that they ran quite a bit, but it didn't mean that the heartland did not have their own romantic stories. And Tanu Manu broke
yeah,
that mold, and we really showed a girl who was wild, and I've met those kind of girls who are in my hometown, and they're rock stars in their own nature. Nothing
yeah,
like what was being portrayed in Hindi cinema before that. So and then Queen happened, and suddenly Heartland India was being properly represented. If one had to stick to the expectations of the industry and the norms that were set, these characters would never have happened. So it feels good to be vindicated as far as those beliefs are concerned.
Okay, now what sort of story does Madhavan wants to tell? How hungry are you as a storyteller?
I'm supremely hungry right now. In fact, more than ever before. I'm suddenly seeing a kind of India that I never expected to see. I'm actually seeing people stand up on their own. And at one point of time, when we entered the bars in the US, people used to look at us, and the girls used to think we're only out there to romance the women over there who are fair skinned, and quite with disdain, if I may say so. Now it's a completely different thing. The Indian walks in and everybody looks at him wondering, oh my God, wondering which startup this guy is heading and what could be the success story behind an Indian. And I'm seeing that, and I want to make movies and tell stories about this sort of a newly empowered Indian. I think it's about time we do that. And I'm looking for stories that can pitch us in the world level. I mean, if you look at a lot of our iconic people in the country today, they're at par with the best in the world. I don't think we could have preempted somebody like Jaishankar in our movies, but we didn't. We are waiting for a foreign minister like Jaishankar to come and prove and show that India can behave like that with other countries. We should have done it even before he comes. That's how Hollywood creates an impression for the US, about the US. We should do that, and I think we should be able to preempt where India is heading and where Indians will be heading in the few years, in the decades to come.
Okay, now with regards to FTI, for example, some amazing alumni have been associated with FTI. What are
Right.
your plans for FTI, and is it also like a learning experience for you to be associated with the?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to go there and I want to make sure. I mean, we were already at it. We have formed the kind of society that we wanted to. Make sure that the academic is relevant. In the terms of in the era of AI, I need to make sure that the students over there have the ability to be prompt engineers more than anything else. The by the time after post graduation, you do a course. In FTI, by the time you pass out, you're fairly entrenched into your ways in the industry. I need to make sure that when you enter the film industry, you're hitting the ground running, and to make sure that the academics supports instant possibilities of getting a job and being revered as being somebody from FTII, like how an IIM or an IIT graduate is looked at when he comes out of college. That's the kind of hunger that the industry should have for FTI students, and I hope that I can achieve that during my tenure.